Good morning, y'all. Today's a little later than normal, 6:30. We took a longer time at the gym, which is nice. Normally, I take my little brother to school every single morning, which is around like 7:20. I have to be home. Um, a little bit before that, really. But anyways, today he's not going to school, so I took a little longer at the gym. And yeah, I'm getting to make this video now instead of doing it earlier like I normally have to. But anyways, man, today, one thing that's been on my mind, I get that everybody's different and everybody experiences feelings different, but I truly believe that the majority of people who claim that they're depressed or that fall victim to depression, majority of them don't really have as big of a problem in their hand as they think they do, you know? I've felt depressed, from time to time, but it only happens when life is not going good. It only happens when I'm not pushing myself and working to the level, to the capacity that I know I can work at, It only happens when I sit around not taking care of business, really. I've never once had a productive day or week and felt depressed, That only can happen at like the loss of a loved one, but that's normal. That is understandable. That's life, unfortunately, But just feeling depressed just because you feel depressed out of nowhere, out of thin air, that's not normal. I do get that some people, it's like genetics, like their family has, like mental disorders. Those cases do exist. But majority of people, depression is so common nowadays, and I don't see how everybody, I don't believe that everybody has the problem they claim they have. It's just an easy way to give yourself reason that you're not performing to the level you should be. And comment down below if you relate to this or what you opinionate about this. But man, if you wake up early every single day, you do some sort of physical activity that is hard to do. Even if when you wake up early, your mind is not going to just go with the flow, especially at first that you're not used to doing this. Your mind knows you, right? Your mind knows everything about you. It is going to be the best salesman, and it's going to try and sell you to go back to bed, to not do what's hard. And it's going to use reasoning that makes perfect sense in the moment. Because when you just wake up, your mind is like susceptible, if that's even the right way to say it. You're very you're easy to persuade because you're like not at your peak mindset. You're kind of weak, But it is very important that you simply follow through with whatever gets you in that flow state. To me, that looks like going straight to the bathroom, splashing cold water in my face. Even better, it would be to take a cold shower. And I've done that, but I can't lie, that is mentally tough, man. Mentally fucking tough. So I stopped doing that for like a month of doing it consistently. But I should get back to it. But what I always do is splash cold water in my face multiple times, and then go straight to the fridge and I down a bottle of cold water. That wakes me up, And then I go straight to a gym, change and go straight to a gym. And sometimes not even change. When it was winter, I would literally go to sleep in the clothing that I would go to the gym in, because my room was very cold, So I would sleep with my gym pants underneath, some sweatpants on top, and then a hoodie. Why? Because I know when I wake up, my mind is gonna be in a weak in a weak mindset, you know? So the cold would be another reason to sleep in. When I wake up and I feel cold, that gives you reason to sleep in. Normally, cause normally I sleep like pretty much like no clothes on, you know? That's why I've always liked to sleep just with the blanket, you know? But that leaves me susceptible to when I wake up in the morning, I feel cold and my body craves comfort. And to fight that, what I do is I wear clothes like I'm dressing to be outside in the cold, you know? So that doesn't happen to me. I'm giving myself one less reason to fall short. I'm giving myself a advantage. You have to give yourself every advantage possible. Another thing I do that most people don't, because I am kind of at war with myself nowadays, I'm not like so much fighting myself, you know? I have a good habit. I just do things out of habit now. But back then when I was getting started, it was hard to do what I do now, you know? So another thing I started doing back then was I installed lights in my room, like lights that go into the ceiling. You know, those like flush, like 6-inch lights, LED lights, but they're not regular ones, they're smart lights. So on my phone, there's an app that is a part of them, and I can literally set a alarm like for them to turn on at the same time as my alarm, you know? That's one thing that I absolutely recommend. That was a game changer for me. I absolutely recommend it. If you guys are struggling with waking up, you know? My first time using it, this might not happen to you because I'm giving you a heads up, but my first time using it, man, I'll never forget. I jumped out of bed. I was laying down and I jumped up because I literally thought I had died. Like I thought I woke up in heaven because I'm not used to like bright lights, you know? And I put like 4 of them, so my whole room was lit up like blinding white. And I'll never forget it, man. I woke up scared. I thought I had woke up in heaven, bro. You know? And then when I realized like I'm good, I was ready, bro. I was up, ready for the gym. And then another tip I'll give you guys, put your phone far away from your bed so you literally have to get up, you know, to turn off your alarm. If you leave it next to you, you're much more likely to just hit snooze on that shit. But yeah, man, those lights, alarm far from your bed. Do things that wake you up, like splash water in your face. Do all these things. It's almost like your conscious mind is at war with your subconscious mind. That's why you do these things. You set yourself up for success. If you're not, I heard this quote for somebody. Actually, not for somebody. I know who it is. John Mark Stevenson. Look him up, man. Me and that guy. That's the only guy I watch that's in the fitness coaching. But for some reason, I've always clicked with everything he said. Always. And yeah, I've been watching him since like his very, very first video that blew up. And it's videos similar to these, you know? He calls them aggression talks. And the very first one, like 2 years ago, maybe even 3, is time flies and you don't even remember, bro. Yeah, that very first one, that guy speaks real stuff, man. But anyways, where was I at? Oh yeah, the quote I heard from him that always stuck with me was, if you fail to prepare, you are preparing to fail, you know? That's why you have to do the opposite of that. You have to prepare yourself to succeed. That's it. And even if you do all these things and you're consistent for a little bit, you are still, don't ever think you've made it, because you're still, it's still possible to go back to your ways. It's happened to me. But if you go back to your ways, you cannot just sit around and go with the flow. Most people in life are just sleepwalking. They're asleep. They don't know where they want to go. and they just go with the flow. If life, for some reason, gets harder and you fall back to your old habits, you need to take action. You need to do something to fight back and get yourself back in track. One thing that I implemented as well, because back then I was literally at war with myself. I was trying to force myself, like I wasn't settling. I knew what I wanted to do, which was wake up every single morning and put in work. And if I wasn't doing that, I was looking of ways to help me doing that. So another thing I implemented, which I also recommend, why not, is those little robots things that like vacuum robots, those things, you can also schedule them to start at a certain time. So I would schedule it to start at the same time as my alarm, same time as the lights. So when I woke up, brother, it was literally a fucking war zone. I had the lights bright as hell. I had the robot walking around making noise. It's not a comfortable environment. I'm not trying to be comfortable. I had to get up to turn the alarm off. I had to get up to turn the damn robot off. Man, that's what it takes. You cannot, it's not easy. It takes mental effort. You have to be conscious of what you want. I don't know, man. I feel like I have more things to say, but video is getting kind of long. I'm gonna cut it short. I don't know what I'm gonna title this shit again. I feel like I started with one idea and then I finished up with another, but that's okay. These are raw talks, Once again, I appreciate absolutely everybody that watches these. I am getting a little bit more views, kind of. But anyways, I'll catch your boys on the next one. I appreciate it.